Welcome back to Best Recapped Movie. Today we cover a post-apocalyptic film directed by Francis Lawrence was made in 2007. In 2009, a person named Dr. Alice Crippen, who focuses on the treatment of cancer patients, was able to work on a virus and use it as an agent to treat patients. And in a television interview, she considers this claim to be accurate. Still, we see that it is not so. 3 years later, we realize that this virus has destroyed humanity. Dr. Robert Neville is seen strolling the streets of Manhattan with his dog Samantha. Suddenly a herd of deer is in their path. He tries to catch at least one of them and chases the deer quickly. But he fails in hunting even one of them and follows them until reaching a street full of destroyed cars where he is. When he decides to hunt one of them, a lion jumps on it and kills him. After seeing the baby lion, he reconsiders his decision. Here Dr. Neville's alarm clock rings, and he looks at the setting sun and tells his dog, Sam, it is time to go. Robert Neville and Sam get home and eat tasty food while watching old news footage. About 3 years ago, at the beginning of the apocalypse, with the Crippen virus almost spreading, Robert, a colonel in the military, tried to save his wife Zoe and daughter Marley. After they hear a message from the President of the United States on the radio saying that he has ordered the quarantine of New York, Marley conveys a good feeling by making a butterfly with her hands while Sam sits on her lap. Robert is trying to get Zoe and Marley out of town and save them. Robert and his family are among the crowd, and the city is quarantined. The army only allows people who are clear to pass. After the straightforward test, Robert manages to get his wife Zoe and daughter Marley through the crowd. He puts Marley in the helicopter and kisses her, then he kisses Zoe, and after Zoe prays for him, they part ways. After giving Sam to Robert, Marley makes a butterfly with her hands to convey the good feeling to her father, and they say goodbye to each other. Robert takes Sam to the bathroom to clean, and after this, which is near sunset, Robert's alarm clock rings again. Robert realizes it is time to lock all the doors and windows of his house. Then later, Robert hugs Sam in the bath while night falls, and he hears strange and scary noises outside. Robert wakes up in the present and, after doing his daily exercise, enters his laboratory in the basement of the house. He records videos of his observations, and after he removes the cloth from the experimental mice, he suddenly notices the effect of one of his therapeutic compounds on one mouse, which has caused him to recover to some extent. He decides to test this potential vaccine on the human species. Robert and Sam enter a DVD store. He has already placed mannequins inside the store and is now talking to them. This is where we realize that Robert is depressed, which is actually due to his excessive loneliness. After that, Robert turns on his daily radio broadcast. He sends a message to those outside that he can provide them shelter, safety, and food. While playing golf, Robert notices some movement. After investigating, Robert sees a deer again. Then, they quickly follow the deer with Sam. The deer ran into a dark abandoned building followed by Sam as Robert repeated behind him, Sam, don't go, because he knew that Darkseekers who can't be exposed to light during the day are in dark places. Robert also entered the building because he couldn't leave Sam alone. He followed Sam as far as he could with his flashlight to find him. Robert follows the trail of blood and, after going upstairs, comes across the dead body of the deer. And he accidentally drops the light one on a group of Darkseekers, and fear fills his entire being. They don't understand, and he continues to try to get to Sam. He finds Sam hiding under a table, and as he tells her we have to run, he notices a Darkseeker near him. Robert shoots at him, but this makes all the Darkseekers aware of his presence, so he tells Sam to hurry and let's run. He runs towards the light and throws himself out with one of them clinging to his back, but they are destroyed as soon as they are exposed to the light. Sam looks up, and they are gone because they ran for the light. Robert then constructs a unique trap to capture one of the Darkseekers to test the vaccine. He draws blood from himself to use as bait. He drops it on a canvas cloth and breaks the sample. Robert manages to hunt down one of them, which certainly doesn't make the big immoral Darkseeker happy. After this, Robert brings the woman to his laboratory and tries to inject her with a vaccine that has a positive effect on one of the mice. By injecting the vaccine, her body temperature will decrease, and her heartbeat will slow, until she becomes frantically alert and then passes out again. Robert then injects another compound into his body and revives him. After that, Robert starts recording the video and recounts the events of that day. He also emphasizes that his body is resistant to the transmission of the virus through contact and air. At present, Robert, who was patrolling with Sam, notices the presence of Fred, the mannequin. Depressed, Robert hallucinates, moves towards the mannequin, and shouts, "What the hell are you doing here, Fred?"
No! No! No!
He takes his gun from the car in a crazy manner and shoots at the mannequin. Suddenly, he realizes that his leg is caught in a trap. His head falls to the ground, and he hangs unconscious. After a few hours, the alarm sounds, and after he wakes up, he realizes that it is time to go. Fortunately, he cuts the rope from his leg with the knife he has with him. After he falls to the ground, his leg is injured, and in other words, the sun is setting. He starts crawling to the car so he can get home sooner. Meanwhile, Sam and Robert notice that the original Darkseeker has arrived with his 3 infected dogs. He sends the dogs to attack Robert, but the sun's light line prevents them from attacking. He rushes to the car, but the light goes out, and the infected dogs attack Sam and Robert. Sam saves Robert's life, and they manage to kill 3 infected dogs, but in this fight, Sam is seriously injured and falls to the ground. Robert takes her home and tries to save her. After giving her the vaccine, he hugs her and starts singing. Unfortunately, after examining the eyes and teeth, Robert realizes it is too late. Sam quickly changes, and as soon as he attacks Robert, he inevitably chokes him with teary eyes as he despairs. The following day, Robert buries Sam. He feels very lonely. That night, Robert doesn't go home and decides to take revenge on the Darkseekers, so he sets a trap for them. He immediately attacks them from behind while being full of hatred. After a relatively long fight and while the car is going backward, Robert cannot escape and is attacked by a Darkseeker. At this moment, someone with a lot of light comes to his aid. The Darkseeker flees when they see the light. Then Robert finds himself confused in the car as he sees the image of the woman who saved him, and asks him where you live. Robert passes out after giving his home address. Here we have another flashback of the last moments of Robert's meeting with his family. The moment their helicopter takes off and accidentally hits an aircraft that has had an accident. It is very sad. Robert opens his eyes, and the TV is playing Shrek. When he wants to get up from the couch, he feels pain in his right leg. After he touches his scar, he realizes it's cured. Crawls to the drawer and, taking the gun, and goes to the kitchen. Robert meets a woman named Anna and a boy named Ethan. It was Anna who saved Robert. She is making breakfast. Then they chat a little at the breakfast table, and Anna says she found him by sending her daily message. But Robert, who is not in a good mood, refuses to accept it and still acts crazy. In his opinion, no one is alive anymore. Later, Robert thanks Anna for treating his leg to comfort him. Anna says there were 5 of them, and only she and Ethan survived. Anna tells Robert that his destination is Vermont and asks Robert to join them at sunrise. But Robert does not accept. Towards evening, Robert and Anna sit by the pool, and Ethan swims in the water. After Robert pours some food into the fish, he suddenly comes to his mind. He goes to the laboratory with Anna and puts ice around the woman he caught for testing so the vaccine might work better on her. Anna looks at the wall full of Darkseekers photos Robert used as a lab sample. Robert injects the vaccine into Darkseekers serum. Night comes, and according to Robert's routine, he locks all the doors and windows of the house. After that, Robert and Anna chat briefly, and Anna talks about God. While Robert says there is no God, they hear the terrible sound of the Darkseekers from outside.
What is that?
They discover that the Darkseekers are following them through the trail of Robert's blood from the previous night. He sees a herd of Darkseekers coming toward the house. Anna goes upstairs to take care of Ethan. Robert had to turn on the emergency lights around the house. However, the Darkseekers destroyed them, and as they approached, Robert was forced to detonate the bombs he had planted. After the explosion, Robert goes upstairs to save Anna and Ethan. Suddenly, the leader of the Darkseekers, whom we have seen several times before, attacks Robert and bites his neck. Robert finds his gun and shoots at him. He gets scared by Robert's shooting and runs away. In the upstairs room, Robert finds Anna and Ethan hiding under the closet. A Darkseeker is drilling holes in the ceiling. Robert takes the opportunity, takes the gun into the room, and kills the Darkseeker. Then Robert, Anna, and Ethan take refuge in the laboratory to save their lives. In the laboratory, they came across a fascinating subject. Robert's vaccine was adequate, and the woman's vital and human-like symptoms had returned to a large extent. The Darkseekers enter the lab, and Robert tells them he can cure them, but their leader tries to break the glass door. He hits the glass several times, and the glass cracks. Robert takes a blood sample from the recovered woman and leads Anna and Ethan into an escape hatch. After giving the sample to Anna, he tells her to stop them and closes the valve. Robert takes a picture of Zoe and Marley out of the drawer, touches it, then picks up the grenade. After that, Robert prepares the grenade and finally goes shoulder to shoulder with the Darkseekers, and the laboratory is blown up. Anna and Ethan arrive at the survivors' building in Vermont the following day. Anna delivers the medicine to them, so Dr. Robert Neville can revive human society with the vaccine he gave to Anna. But the video continues because the movie has two endings. In the second ending, the leader of the Darkseekers creates a butterfly on the glass with his hands after knocking on the glass door. At this moment, Robert remembers Marley. He also saw the image of a butterfly on the back of a woman he had captured for his experiments. After that, Robert, who realizes the love between them, puts his gun on the ground and removes the serum from her body so that her body system returns to its previous state. Robert asks Anna to open the door to take the woman out. After Anna opens the door, Robert takes her outside. The Darkseekers want to harm Robert, but their leader stops them because Robert returns his lover to him. Robert makes her conscious by injecting a compound into the woman's leg, and stares at the love between them. The leader of the Darkseekers hugs his lover, and they leave the lab without harming Robert by himself or his people. Robert had a guilty conscience when he saw the photos of the people he had hunted for his experiments and also caused their death. The next day, Robert decides to go to Vermont with Anna and Ethan, and Anna also leaves a message for the survivors that they are not alone and that there is always hope. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel.